my dear students, today's topic is regulation of respiration. Now, before I tell about the various respiratory centers present in the brain and how do they regulate the respiratory rate, let's have a look into the structure of the brain. Now, if it is the human brain, so you see there are various lobes in the brain. This is the frontal lobe, right? This is the parietal lobe. This is the temporal lobe. And this one is the occipital lobe. So these are the four lobes of the brain. Now this is the cerebrum. Right? Now below it there is brain stem. If I rub it, the brain stem include the following parts. This is the midbrain. This is the pons varoli. This is the medulla oblongata. And here comes the spinal cord that descend down from the medulla oblongata. So this is the brain stem, and here there is cerebellum. So the main centers for the respiration or regulation of respirations are located in these two areas, the pons and the medulla. Let's look into it. So here our study is focused on the brain stem that include the midbrain, the pons and the medulla oblongata. As the pons and the medulla oblongata, there are few centers that regulate the respiration or the rate of respiration. For that we have to just focus on the pons. Now here there is a center in the pons known as the Pneumotaxic Center. So this is the Pneumotaxic Center that I have drawn with a green color. Next come the another center present in the pons called the Apneistic Center. So these are the two centers in the pons. There is another center in the medulla oblongata, which contain a group of nuclei. So these are the main centers. Now just let's discuss how do they regulate the respiration. Now this area which is in the medulla, this is the primary inspiratory area, which is a collection of a group of neuron, or you can say nuclei. So here is the main center for respiratory area or the primary inspiratory area that regulate the respiration or the inspiration, you can say as it is the inspiratory area. This is both having the inspiratory area as well as the rhythmic center, or the rhythmicity is controlled by this area. So once the electrical impulse is generated, the impulse goes down in the spinal cord to activate the muscles or the respiratory muscles for the respiration, the normal respiration down in the spinal cord. So if it is the spinal cord down. Next there is another area near this inspiratory area. This is the primary inspiratory area. Near this area there is another area. This is generally called the expiratory area. So this is the expiratory area. So how does it work? Let's see. So as this respiratory rhythm center present in this medulla, which is also having a rhythmic center or respiratory rhythm center, this center generally regulate the normal inspiration or the normal breathing process. So it is not affected by the increase in the carbon dioxide concentration or the decrease in the carbon dioxide concentration or the pH. It has no impact on it. It generally regulate the normal rhythm of the inspiration here in this rhythm center. So in this video, as we are talking about the regulation of respiration, we need to know why the respiration need to be regulated. Now you see here, when there is the increased demand of the oxygen, if there is an increase in the demand of oxygen by the body tissues, so what will the body tissues do? The nervous system that we are talking about, the various centers present in the medulla oblongata and the pons, these centers present in the CNS, it will regulate the respiration rate. That is, the demand of the oxygen by the body tissues will be provided by increasing the respiration rate. That means there will be the enhancement in the respiration rate. So how does it occur? Now, as I discussed, there is a rhythm center in the medulla oblongata. Near the rhythm center, there is a chemosensitive area which is located near the rhythm center. Now, this chemosensitive area located adjacent to the rhythm center, it is highly sensitive to carbon dioxide. So, it is highly sensitive to the carbon dioxide gas as well as the hydrogen ion concentration, that is a proton. So this center, which is the chemosensitive area, is highly sensitive to carbon dioxide and the proton or the hydrogen ion concentration. So they increase the activity of this center. The chemosensitive area become sensitive to carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion concentration, which in turn send the signal to the respiratory centers. Here the respiratory center, that the expiratory area is there, that is, you can say, it can increase the rate of respiration, okay, by sending the signal by the nerves to the intercostal muscles. As you have learned in the previous video about the working of the intercostal muscles during inspiration and expiration. So in this case, the send signal to the respiratory center to make necessary changes in order to eliminate these substances. Now here before I told you that oxygen does not have a significant direct effect on the respiratory center of the brain to control the respiration. So this is about the centers. Now the Pneumotaxic Center, which I told you previously, present in the pons varoli, this Pneumotaxic Center is stimulated. The stimulate reduce the duration of inspiration and altering the respiratory rate. So here we need to know about the dorsal and the ventral part. So this is the anterior part or the ventral part, and this is the posterior or the dorsal part. So why I am writing this, you will understand a bit later. So as I have drawn here dorsal, so you see this rhythm center or the respiratory rhythm center, the inspiratory center, these are the group of neuron, which are the dorsal group of neuron that regulate the normal inspiration or normal breathing rate. While this part, you see this neuron, which are the frontal neuron or frontal group of neuron, that exactly it operates the expiratory rate, or it is the expiratory center that regulate the expiration. Now let's move on to the chemical control of respiratory regulation. There are a large number of chemoreceptors which are located in the carotid bodies, which lie bilaterally in the bifurcation of the common carotid arteries. Now what are carotid arteries? These are the blood vessels that carry the oxygenated blood to the head, brain, and the facial region. These blood vessels are located on the either side of our neck region. Now, the afferent nerves of the carotid arteries, the afferent nerves pass through the glossopharyngeal cranial nerves. I hope you know what is a cranial nerve. These are the pair of nerves that connect our brain to the head, neck, and the trunk. So, glossopharyngeal cranial nerve, which is the ninth cranial nerve, and this is connected to the glossopharyngeal cranial nerve and thus to the dorsal respiratory area of the medulla oblongata that I just discussed during the nervous regulation of respiration. So these receptors of the aortic arch and carotid artery, they recognize the changes in the carbon dioxide and the hydrogen ion concentration, and they send necessary signals to the rhythm center for the remedial actions. I hope you understood about the rhythm center that I just discussed before. Now let me discuss what are aortic arch. So what is aortic arch? Aortic arch is the portion of the main artery that bends between the ascending and descending aorta. So students, it was all about the regulation of respiration, the neural and the chemical regulation of respiration. Hope you found the topic interesting and you have understood it very well. If you think that it is useful for your friends too, then please do share it with them, and don't forget to press the like button if you have found it interesting and liked it. And if you have not yet subscribed my channel, please do press the bell icon and subscribe it. Thanks for watching.